Okay, we are back. This is the second stream for today. We spent a lot of time analyzing episode one. Definitely episode two, very tense episode. Look, doesn't matter how you look at it. It's a very hard episode to write.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wants to be in the writer's shoes in this episode. Like, there's obviously we found a lot of mistakes in it, but it's just not easy. You have this whole word building, this whole architectural building, hide and seek, all these rules, and then you have all these stories within the stories within this one game that they try to pursue. So there's been a lot of plot holes which we will discuss, but I can't blame the writers. This is not an easy episode to write at all.
I so there's two things I kind of wanted to touch on from episode one. And one of them is that this is the scanner. That's definitely going to be relevant because they took the time to focus in and give us a whole frame of her scanning the dude's neck and then him being registered as dead. Now, there's two ways to register dead. I've noticed in Squid Games. When I watch, remember I'm a game designer. I'm a designer. So when I watch these things, I'm paying attention to the rules, but also what the game is. Because there's the game. It's like Halo, right? Like in Halo, you can jump. You press X and you jump. That's the only way to jump. And Master Chief can only jump so high every time. You can't jump on certain things. He can only jump so high. That's the game. I'm sorry, that's the rules. That's the rules of the game. You press X, you jump, you only jump so high. It's the baked in physics of the game. But then there's the actual game itself. And anyone who's played Halo knows you can rocket jump and grenade jump and stand on top of a warthog and have it get propelled by a wraith. And like there's all sorts of different ways to maneuver using jump mechanics, but the actual jump itself is hard base. It's hard line. There's no way to break out of it. So there's the rules, but then there's the game. So when I'm watching TV shows like this where they have there's the game show, there's the rules, and then there's the game. And the game is easily breakable. There's a lot of the ways to break the rules in the game that you can get away with. But so there's two ways they scan things. One way is they do the scanner, boom. And then the other way is, I guess they're watching and they watch it happen live. And so then they do the call out. So during the stabbing game right now, when the players get stabbed and they're perceived dead, they call it out. But in the other game, they had to do the scanner and then it registered. So now we have a way that someone could be considered dead without them actually being dead. Mm-hmm. This is important because this is not a plot hole. This is a potential plot twist for later. The other thing I wanted to bring up that we didn't talk about in episode one was the amount of characters we're going into season 3 with. This season 2 starts, you have like 3 main characters, and then you have like 17. And then you get to the end of season 2 and you have like what, 6, 7 main characters? That's a lot of main characters. That's a lot of people to keep following the storylines of.
It was a very hard episode, yeah.
Yeah, so I understand that there are a lot of people that definitely have to go. We should start placing bets on who we think's going to go in the future because there's still a lot of characters left, but a lot of the main characters.
Obviously, the star of this episode was the trans character.
Yeah,
Definitely the star. I feel she should have been killed towards the end of the episode because
it
was the only moment where I felt the shock of it happening.
Which I think is good writing.
Yes.
To time it. It's good timing.
Yeah. But
I didn't expect her to die there.
Exactly. And the who killed her? It was the boyfriend of the
exactly.
the father of the child that
exactly.
she basically was protecting the whole time, and it's just like I had this my mouth was open moment when it happened, and I felt that this should have been towards the end of the episode. This was the start the main plot of the episode. I didn't care much about the interaction between 456 and the Marine. I felt that
he wasn't even a Marine.
It didn't make sense to me anyway. Like he was like, he was like mad at him the whole time, and then he wasn't ready to kill him, and then it was all your fault. It was all my fault. It was like kids arguing against each other.
Honestly, the scene does make a lot of sense because 456 is not a bad guy yet, and he's not like an evil person. He is actively a good person who's in a terrible position, but he is a little crazy right now.
Yeah.
I fully expected him to kill that guy. Like if he didn't kill him, it would not have made a lot of sense. Like
Yeah, yeah,
this
no, I
is
know.
you're in the character is in a position where that is reasonable to that makes sense. Like that's within the realm of belief. I'm not shocked that that he was pretending to be a Marine because there's a lot of things that he was saying that he was doing, and like not even obviously a U.S. Marine. Obviously, it's not any slight against myself. It's just like there's other people who have military training in the show, and it's obvious and it's apparent, and there's levels to it. Like there's clearly levels to their training, but like this person has little to like no training, no behavior. He just speaks some of the lingo, and that was it. And he had like a tattoo, so like he had enough face value to pretend to be a Marine. But when the time came and he froze up last season, and we were defending him for like, well, I mean, who knows what kind of PTSD he has?
Maybe,
None.
yeah.
He's just a coward. He was just
You're
he was just a
loser,
liar, and he
bro.
was afraid. Yeah, he's pathetic. So I'm kind of glad he's gone. I honestly don't think the fight should have been drawn out that long. I understand it's a character building moment for 456. It's like a
exactly,
character
yeah.
defining moment.
Yeah.
But he was always going to kill him. So like, he should have just done it with a knife.
I feel like this is an important point for the writers is that the star of this episode was the trans character. She should have gone, like they literally should have milked the hell out of her in this episode. Like
Yeah.
anything they could have cut from the other characters, they should have done it.
Yeah,
The fight scenes were amazing. The two fight scenes she had, they were great.
Yeah.
Great momentum, great shooting, great stunts. I loved it. Her leadership, amazing. And also, they should have milked, for example, the moment where should I take the exit or should I come back? Like,
Yeah,
this is
yeah.
again kind of
that,
like
that
from,
should have that should have been something to drew up more for sure.
yeah, definitely more milking of that. The POV of this episode. So let's talk about it from a POV perspective. This is her episode. She should have gotten as much attention as possible, and because if you keep intercutting between all the characters, it just
lessens.
loses value. Exactly, it
Yeah,
loses
it does,
value.
it does.
And it's hard for us to keep track, and it's hard for the momentum to build up, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the tension to build up, like what's gonna happen? Because if you think about it, imagine how stronger her death would have been if throughout all this time they were just building towards her death. If all the
Yeah.
tension was towards her, and if you think about it from when the episode first started, like I feel this is a good episode for filmmakers to look at. You think about it. There's video game style. You're in a maze. You're trying to get out. Lots of music. Lots of tension. Reminds me of like 1917 when you don't know when someone's gonna pop up and shoot you.
Mm-hmm.
All this like continuous shots. I feel that they didn't give it service when they were cutting across all the characters, and there's a lot of unnecessary stuff. They weren't trusting the viewers. For example, in the part where they were discovering that each person has a different type of key, and like, oh,
Yeah.
we should stay together, and I'm the one who's gonna hold. Like, you don't have to talk all these things. We understood it from when we saw it.
Yeah.
Like you ruined the momentum with all these things, and then again, the part with 456 was overdone. Look, there's nothing wrong in switching who the main character is in an episode. Because the
Right.
story is moving forward. We see it all the time. It happens all the time in series. Like, why do you keep want to give 456 all this screen time when this amazing build up
Character that you wrote. Yeah.
which is the trans woman? It was just,
A fan favorite character. Like
yeah, exactly. Like I'm
that's what happens. I agree. I think her death should have been towards the end, and it should have been the final death in the episode that would have been the big break. I think
Exactly.
456 should have killed that guy like second or third to last, to be honest. Like relevance of characters in the episode of how they're dying. Like all the no name people who are just numbers that are just literally filling the number pool. Like those guys get killed off on off screen and randomly in like side shots. But like yeah, main characters got to go, and like in order of relevance, because you like you were saying, like it's kind of her episode. Like she's a fan favorite character because they wrote a moral character. Like of course she's a fan favorite. She does all good things. So of course she has to sacrifice herself, like we talked about the last episode. So it's natural to feel like, okay, she's going to die eventually. But it does have to be poignant. It has to be relevant. It has to be a sacrificial moment so the characters can progress and move forward. Now, I will say that the mother killing her son kind of did have to happen after the former trans soldier died, because the mom was in the room with the girl who had the baby.
Yeah, yeah,
So like,
definitely, yeah, yeah.
so like, I guess that could be technically be the last death in the episode, and then you cut
But
the episode.
but
But like,
the trans character
she's
was killed early. Yeah.
like,
So
yeah, like third to last. Like what? Like even the Oracle lady died after. Who cares about that? I'm glad dude, she should have died way sooner. She should have been the first one to go to get people excited for the episode deaths. Like yeah, who's next? Who's next?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I agree. I think she should have gotten
More screen
more
time.
relevance. Yeah,
More
it's
screen.
okay if you like. I know there's again, you want to subvert expectations, and like all the time you watch shows, and all of a sudden it's this character's episode, and they get a little backstory, and then they get a lot of screen time. You're like, oh god, this character's dead, and so people expect that when they're watching, but also that doesn't lessen the blow of the character's death in that episode. If you're
Definitely.
watching and you know that this is that character style of death, the character's death episode like style, you're like, oh crap, am I about to watch my character die? Like, yeah, you are.
Here's how they could have approached it. So you have the main character, which is the trans character. This is the main POV of the episode, and then you can use everything else just as a passage of time case. Because you're not gonna keep the camera on the trans character the whole time. So you switch
Yeah,
to another
okay.
character just to show that they did something in the meantime, and then you come back to the trans character. So, for example, if they wanted to shock us with her death, between the time where, let's say, I don't know, she finds the exit and comes back, they could cut to another thing that's happening. Which, for example, 456 and the Marine, let's say, for example, whatever it is. And then we're like, yeah, come on, you can go. The three of you can leave. And then, boom. Even like him killing her didn't make sense to me. Because the only thing that convinced him to do it was the other guy telling him that, oh, if we kill more people, there's more prize money for us. This part didn't make sense to me. I don't think that was enough conviction for him to kill the trans lady.
For me it's because he took drugs that they basically went on a killing spree. Otherwise, because he didn't even want to do it in the first place, and needed like the encouragement and the peer pressure to like do it in the first stab. But once he took the drugs, they were just stabbing people left and right. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna chalk this up to drugs, because MG Coin is not the guy to do any of this. I don't know if like he's kind of a pussy. So like, I'm afraid to see what the All right, we'll talk about that later. Repercussions of this event. Like I think this is kind of one of those. I'm glad they, now that I'm watching episode 2, I'm glad episode 1 was built up, because this episode is going to have ripple effects for the rest of the season. Episode 1 doesn't have ripple effects the rest of the season. This will, because this is where a lot of changes in the environment are made. So we lost the Oracle, we lost our trans soldier, who again, soldier because wildly competent character. A competent character. This is not only morally just, but also competent. Nothing's worse than someone who's morally just and they're incompetent. You can't rely on them. Because you're like, dude, shut up. You're okay, thanks, dude. But you're not helping. Like, that's annoying. But like, oh, no, we should do this. Like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's like, we should do this, and then go does it, and it gets beat up and still victory. And it's like, yeah, Spider-Man's the best. Yeah, we love that. Spider-Man, moral characters. You make you a fan favorite. And make you, as a viewer, you have to like them because they're doing good. The right thing. They're doing it right. So like, you know what I'm saying? There aren't no more of those characters.
There's the mother.
Who?
The mother of the guy. She's still in the game.
Yeah, but she's out of commission. She just had to kill her baby boy.
She's incompetent, as you mentioned.
She's done now. She's incompetent now. She's morally justified.
So let's talk about this. What did you think of the scene of her sacrificing her child to keep the woman alive?
She should have just. I mean, to be honest, she didn't kill him. She just stopped him, and the soldier shot him anyway. So like, no matter what, because in my mind, when she stabbed him, I was like, she shouldn't even killed him. She just stabbed him in the thigh, and he would have like fell over or whatever. But like, then the soldier shot him, and I was like, dang, yeah, it was no matter what, he was dead. And that's what he was saying. He's like, I didn't kill anyone. They're gonna kill me. And it's like, I mean, she did the right thing. Like,
you think so?
He was gone no matter what. It was on. She had carried him a few times through the challenges.
Yeah.
She carried him more than once.
But if she let him kill the woman,
then they both would have gone through, and they would have been The old lady would have never forgiven him. I don't think the old lady would have let him do it ever. And I think that if he like overpowered her and killed the woman or like the baby, the mom would have forgiven him. Because the mom has again. I remember season 2. Like the mom carried him through a couple challenges and forgave him a couple times. Like when he actively betrayed her. Like
Yeah,
so. I
especially
think
with the voting.
this was the yeah exact see exactly. So it's not like they just got here. They've been through challenges already. It was only a matter of time before he would have turned the knife on her, and so she was like, "It's best just to take him out of the challenges altogether." She still got to live with it though. She still got to live with it. He's a liability, but the baby's also a liability. But okay, so baby, mom, and baby dad are all alive.
Yeah, interesting. We still agree that one of them is gonna die. So
Got to, got to, one or two, to be honest.
yeah,
And I don't think they're gonna take the baby out. I'm telling you. So
yeah,
they're making that baby.
she's gonna keep holding him throughout the whole games. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like
Literally. That's what I'm saying about pregnant characters. This is a character who is going to experience a great deal of burden, but also potentially what happens during pregnancy. A great change occurs after. Except when you're writing a story, narratively, as a writer, actually, a character's carrying a burden, and then they have a transformation, and then they're still carrying a burden. It's not like they're relieved of this burden. It's not like they're suddenly free of childbirth. No, dude, they have a baby. Actually, they're in just as much jeopardy now than they were before. Like, it doesn't really change your character. That's why when like you're writing a pregnant character, understand that like this is not a character who's going to change. This is a character who's going to have baggage and affordances you have to think about throughout the whole time you have this character involved. And you're not gonna, because we're in the West, you're not gonna kill you this baby or this, you know what I'm saying? So, what's gonna happen? You have to think about these things. Like certain kinds of characters are pieces of a puzzle, and they only fit in certain ways. You can't make a circle fit in a square. It doesn't fit. The circumference is wrong. It's shaped wrong. So like you can't have a. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, right? When you're playing Dungeons and Dragons with your friends, and you all want to have your own characters, that's cool. Some of you can be chaotic good. Some of you can be neutral, lawful neutral. But no one can be chaotic evil because you have like paladins on the team. A paladin can't allow evil to happen around them. I can't have you be on my team and you be like an evil wizard and I'm a paladin and we get to a village and you're like, let's kill some civilians. I can't. My character doesn't allow that. I'm role playing. I have to follow what my character's alignment is, and they're rightful. They're, you know what I'm saying, they're lawful neutral. Like I can't allow you to do that. It's unjust. Same for these characters when you're writing them into stories. You can't have a character who's wise and all knowing and always has great advice, and then does something stupid and gets killed. You're like, why would they? Does it? Because it doesn't make sense. Now the audience is taken out. Now you've ruined immersion and you've broken character. You've betrayed expectations as opposed to subverting them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's. That's why characters need to evolve. If you want to change stories, you want to subvert expectations, you have to evolve your characters. You can't have them devolve into something else. I was nervous he wasn't gonna kill the fake Marine guy.
really?
That would have been a weird character turn.
That would have been like a Game of Thrones thing where he dies
Yeah.
at the end because and he's the main
Yeah.
character. Like, it's just,
I'd be like, why wouldn't he kill him? Like, why would he? How would he even get away? Like, yeah, it wouldn't have made sense. They had to do it.
so the witch is dead. We were talking about the cult thing, and it's kind of good we spent some time talking about it because
Yeah.
they showed us here that how a lot of the times the cult leader is just speaking
And for
nonsense.
themselves. Yeah, it's all for themselves.
She's like, "Oh, I'm talking to the gods," and then the whole time she's just using like her blood markers to know where the exit is. And then the one
That is
time
true,
she's
true.
like, "This is the exit. This is the exit." They see like two people who are inside who are there to kill them. So this is a plot. This is a problem in this episode because they did mention that once you unlock a door, it cannot be relocked.
Yeah.
And this door, since there are people in it, it means it was unlocked, but she opened it. So this means that this is a plot
Wait.
hole.
Wait, what do you mean?
The one time where she says this is the exit and there's two red people inside, and they kill her followers.
So the door had already been unlocked.
Because there's
At
people
one point,
inside. Yeah.
there were people there were stabbers inside,
Yeah.
which means that, but the stabbers don't have keys, so that means that at some point somebody with green had to unlock that door for them to even get in there in the
Yeah.
first
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
So hold on, what happened? So
So she opened that door, which
she
means
opened the door.
which means that it was unlocked, but it doesn't make sense because there's people inside. Because once you unlock a door,
Yeah, it stays unlocked.
it stays unlocked.
Oh, that's right. She didn't just open the door; she unlocked the door
Yeah.
and then went inside and was like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, it's totally safe." Oh no, wait. How did they open that door?
She put her
Did she
key.
just- Okay.
Yeah, I
In the
remember
door.
she put
Oh,
the
yeah.
key. So I was like, doesn't make sense. There's people inside, and if a door's unlocked, it
Yeah.
stays unlocked. So, plot hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now you might argue maybe it's not a room, maybe it was another hallway, but
No, there were no.
I don't
There are no.
think so.
There are no keys to hallways. All
Exactly.
the doors led to rooms, and
And-
then the middle tunnel.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So
That was the exit though. But no, she unlocked it. So yeah, there'd be no way. Yeah, you're right. It had to be a plot hole,
plot hole,
continuity error.
continuity error. But no, again, I don't blame the writers. It's just a very hard episode to write.
It's a lot of moving pieces.
A lot of moving pieces. You need to already have the architecture in your head before you write this. It's not
Yeah.
like you can just be a writer and that's it. I would
I mean,
assume you have a design in your head. I mean,
I
I
will.
don't know.
I will say, as a writer and a designer, I know that there is a certain advantage to writing about maze scenes, like mazes.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell us
Well,
your
so
experience.
if I'm writing about a room, if I'm
Uh-huh.
writing about like a fight scene in a room, like we were talking about the last episode, like the shooting in that little room.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many ways you need to position that you can position your characters, your actors, but at the same time, like, if I'm choreographing a fight scene in that little room, I have to be cognizant of where the walls are, where like the bathroom sink is, where the toilet is. Like, they're fighting in the bathroom. All that stuff's relevant. Like, you can't just move around freely in there. But if I'm in a maze and I know the viewer hasn't got a top-down view of the maze, then I can just have people appear anywhere at any time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
That's the benefit of writing a maze. Like, you can be on the other side of the maze and then randomly be on the other side of the maze randomly because it's a maze. As long as it's not like too fast and it's like, oh, magic. But if it's like randomly running and you don't know like the exact timeline, because that's the other thing too you were talking about. Like, there's a lot of moving pieces. We don't know the exact chronology of when these events take place. We assume it's happening in order.
Yeah.
But like, it doesn't necessarily tell us that.
Exactly.
The only references we have are who's left and the time clock on the wall.
Yeah.
And the time clock isn't continuously going in the corner of the screen. We just reference it every once in a while to keep track of the progression of the game. So again, yeah, you can kind of like have
Play
people
with
be
it.
anyway in a maze.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really
yeah.
it really is a smart thing. Like, if you're doing like fantasy books, be like, oh, you entered a magic maze. Good luck, dude. Like, I'm about to have dudes all over the place whenever I want, and doesn't have to make sense because it's a maze. You don't know who's around any corner. Pretty cool stuff.
What else? Who got killed? Yeah, like speaking more about the witch.
Sacrificed her followers.
Yeah, and then she now we know throughout the whole time she's just spitting BS. She doesn't know
Oh, yeah.
anything.
That was yeah.
No, because
Yeah.
sometimes there are people who like they think they are in touch with the gods. This one, she knows she's not in touch. She's just screwing people up.
Well, so here's the thing about like narcissists and people who put themselves in cult leader positions are often like have signs of narcissism, a lot of symptoms. Is that a narcissist doesn't know they're wrong. Like excuse me, how about this? The average person walking around every single day thinks that they are right about everything that they believe. Well, of course you do. Like, think of something. Tell me something you believe in that you know is wrong. Tell me something you know you believe in that you know is incorrect. You can't, because you believe in it. That's what you
Exactly.
believe to be real.
Yeah.
Okay, but tell me a time you've been wrong in your life.
Many times.
Of course you have. Many times. Every single person. It's impossible to be right about everything. Impossible. So already then we have to logically understand that our beliefs aren't infallible. But a narcissist has a disposition. You see, they do genuinely believe that everything they think is real. You can't tell them they're wrong. They can't even conceive that they're wrong. If you show them they're wrong, if you try to prove they're wrong, they will like attack you. They will like violently resist this notion because it's their brain chemistry, it's their worldview.
It's actually a good point because when she gets
She
killed,
yeah,
she's like, "You know who I am."
literally, literally to her dying breath would not let it go. Like no you like there's like no, there's like a Netflix show about this narcissist girl who like pretends to be rich and famous and like basically makes her way and like moves into this powerful rich like New York like high life reality. But she's faking it and lying the whole time and she's like putting herself super in debt and like it's catching up on her, but she's a narcissist also. And so she believes she is one of these people and does like this New York debutante with all this billions of dollars, but she's not, and all this death catching up to her. But at, like on the stand, like in jail, like to a lawyer, to like a journalist who's catching up on the story. The girl's already in jail. She's already been caught. She's already been charged with all millions of dollars in fraud, like sentenced to years in prison. Already been found guilty, and had multiple people come and stand against her and to her face. But this journalist comes and is like, "Tell me your story," and she is lying about all of it because she can't tell the truth. It doesn't exist up here. Her version of the truth is what she wants it to be, and however she remembers it is how she wants to remember it. Like how they view the world, how they remember the world, how they believe in things is all warped. So like you can't expect them to ever come down to reality. Like that's what I'm saying about like these cult leaders and like these apocalyptic movies. Like yeah, whenever you're in those if you're ever in a situation like that, you're like trapped in a bus with some crazy people, or you're trapped in a cave, and like when there's like a incredibly religious figure who's trying to like bring people on their side and like team up against other people, you got to kill that person immediately. You got to. You got to kill that person instantly. That person's got to be one of the first people to go because that's the most dangerous person in the building. That's a person who you can't convince of anything regardless of evidence or facts. You can't show them any, you can't prove anything to them. You can't. They can't perceive it. So yeah, I'm glad. I mean, there's no way she can't exist in this world. Like this was the perfect place for her to exist and get all the attention she wanted. Otherwise, she would have been living out in the woods like a crazy person because she's insane. Yeah, those people go crazy. I study it. I'll be studying. People are very scary. Humans are very, very scary. What about what about the winner of the game? The
the,
businessman,
the businessman.
the old guy. God. He pretended to be dead.
Yeah, I was like,
He
got
tricked the guy.
he got too much screen time. Again, kind of to the point that it should have been the trans character who got most of the screen time. Like this part
Yeah.
where he sells the guy who was with him and let the other
Yeah.
woman kill him. Like, okay, it's like, okay, let's move on. I don't care.
I
don't care.
yeah,
Come on, let's move on.
That should have just been much faster. That should have been like we're
Yeah.
running down the hallway. We break into this room. He sees the lady and then pushes him. He didn't need to have any of the build up for that. He should have just done that because that character was like a nobody. Like it wasn't a relevant character.
Exactly.
So
Look, I
it
understand.
should be
Like,
quick.
this is something I feel writers fall into a lot. Like, look, there's a lot of characters. I understand it's hard to write
Yeah.
when there's a lot of characters. A character, if you think about it, as long as you want to keep them relevant in the story, needs two scenes. One towards the beginning, and one towards the end. What does towards mean? It means that first half, second half. Sometimes you don't need more than this. Just if you keep it as a main character gets most of the screen time, we're following their story. We're checking how their involvement is, especially when it has this shocking moment at the end. If you want to focus on this POV, then everything else becomes connective tissue, and which is fine. You don't need to give them that much screen time. You just need to make sure they don't suddenly disappear.
Yeah.
Just make sure, okay, what happened to this character? I want to know. And
Yeah.
that's it. Like, you don't have to feel like you're giving everybody justice. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to at all. If you wanted to give somebody justice, it was the trans character, the hero of
Yeah,
the story.
that's true. You
So-
don't have to give every single character the entire show.
Yeah,
Like,
nobody
it's
cares.
not their show.
It's fine. And this is why the billionaire bankrupt in that character, like, okay, he had this moment where, like, he pretended to be asleep and he almost,
Yeah.
like even when he was almost gonna get stabbed by this guy on drugs who was really high,
Yeah.
it's a funny moment, but it's okay. It's like I don't care.
Yeah, that it did. I didn't need this in the. We have an hour of screen time. Like there's better uses for our time than
Exactly.
this interaction,
Yep.
especially since it doesn't yield anything. Interactions with no yield are not necessary.
Exactly.
Every interaction you have should be about something. It needs to do something and take you somewhere or build something. Like
We do have the perfect example actually in the first scene where it was quick, and this is where I think there was different writers between the first scene and everything else. It was quick, it was fast. They
Yeah.
just showed her killing the doctor and telling the guy that she didn't even tell
Yeah.
him. They did it in the right way. She just looked at the mask and okay, now we understand he's gonna become one of them. And that was
Exactly.
it. That was it.
That's all you need.
And that's all we needed.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, that's smart. It gave me a good feeling. I was like, okay, story moves on. Like
Yeah.
that's it. Doesn't have
I
to
was
be
very surprised.
overcomplicated. Doesn't have to be. Oh, I need to give them justice. You gave them justice. That's
Yeah.
it. You don't need to give them
You,
more.
you actually gave him the last episode justice. So now finish it and move on to the next thing.
Exactly. So
I'm glad the businessman made it though. I do think that they gave him that screen time for a reason. Like I said, the scene with him hiding from the two guys, I really do think that's like again a waste of screen time. We could have used that more constructively. But I think that he is a relevant character because he just won. And I think that is I think they did that for a reason. So I'm not too mad that he has a little bit of screen time because he's one of the main characters. He is on the roster of main characters, but he's definitely not the episode's main character. So I'm okay with him having some more screen time, but not unnecessary screen time. They could have been more constructive with it.
no, I think it
people
was
already-
just. I think it was just
people already
bad
know him.
writing. It wasn't. It wasn't that they needed to give him more screen time. Like it's. He already got a lot of screen time before. Like a lot.
Because he won the
necessary.
challenge.
Yeah.
So like when people win challenges, what's the rules? Like you get an advantage in the next thing, or like, so like, I think you know what I'm saying they gave him a little bit of screen time because he might get a lot of screen time the next episode, potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially. Yeah. What do you think the fallout's going to be? I mean, so 456 killed the fake Marine. The trans soldier's gone. The estranged family's still there. The mom killed her son.
Yeah.
Consequences. The fall is the ripples. It's the consequences. The next episode's a consequences episode. We gotta live with what we've done. So it
I
might be a
feel
little
that
bit
the
slower
next
episode.
the next episode, yeah, it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be just characters absorbing what happened. I don't think like we're gonna see most of the game.
Until the end. They'll probably announce the
I
rest of the
think
game.
I think yeah, exactly. I think they're just gonna keep us on our toes towards. I mean, that's what happened in season 1. Actually, it's like you like want to know what's gonna happen, but you notice okay, this episode is just preparing for the next game. It's just
Yeah.
yeah. It's like a trick. You might say it's unethical, but it's fine. It works. If it works,
So
then it works.
wait, so this is the last season and there's only 6 episodes?
Yeah.
Yeesh. So they finished the show, is what you're saying. This is the end of the show. They're not gonna have a season 4.
No.
They got a lot of work to do in 4 episodes.
Yeah. How many games left? 2 games? Yeah, 2 games.
Minimum.
And like
Minimum
the
2
repercussions of the games. Yeah, no, that's... yeah.
Well, actually, wait. Last season they were short a game because they did the rebellion. Oh no, sorry.
We're still within the last season.
We're still in the last season's game. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. My bad. I'm tripping. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, shoot. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. What did you say? They had 2 more games left, right?
Yeah, yeah. So they did so far the red light,
Jesus.
the light game, the 5 team game, and then
Puzzle
the
relay.
and then the what's it called?
What was the third one?
What was the third game? What was the third game? Oh my god, did we forget?
Wait.
Oh, the guy with the circle where they have to get into doors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The
that was
merry-go-round thing.
That
Oh,
was
yeah,
the
that
third
messed up.
game, and now is the 4th game, which is the hide
This
and
was the
seek,
4th
and now 2 more
Yep.
games. Yeah.
All right. So
Now the
one's gonna
VIPs are
be-
here. The VIPs are
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
So these are going to be the combat games, and that'll probably be the last one. So the next one will be another elimination, but it'll be wait.
So
How's the rhythm go?
season one, it was the jumping on glasses, game five.
Yeah, that was the game five.
I gave it to my students in my programming class.
All right, so the games have two. There are two types of games. There are
Head to head.
character. Well, there's PvP and PvE.
Yeah.
Player versus player and player
It
versus
was
environment.
environment. Yeah.
So I think that was player versus player. So the next one will be player versus environment, and then the final one will be player versus player again.
Yep.
Jesus, because the first one's player versus environment. Anytime they do the red light green light, that's player versus environment. Man.
Yep.
All right.
Any final comments on episode two?
I mean, better than episode one, obviously. 'Cause
Definitely.
there's way more going on. But
Lots of issues could have been better, but you can learn from it, so that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
you learn from bad episodes more than you learn from good episodes.
yeah, of course.
So I feel you need to. I feel that like this is the issue. You know, you need to watch bad stuff in order to learn, not good stuff.
I watch a lot of bad movies. They are fantastic. It's like one little awesome thing in this hour and a half of trash.
Stretch, yeah. Let me see. Do we have a question in the chat? We have someone who came then left. He's like, "Is there anyone in this stream?" And I told them yes, but they left. I think so. Yeah. Any questions from the one person watching before we call it a day?
We'll get it next time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. It is what it is. So.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Obviously, we'll once we're done with episode 3, we'll directly review it, and yeah, we'll see y'all in our